Welcome to Connie Martin's and Talks Books. Los Angeles Noir, they call it. Well, my guest today, Stephen Jay Schwartz, has captured it in a novel called Boulevard. It's published by Forge Press, and welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, Connie. It's great to be here.
And it really is. It's a book that always takes place in my mind after dark, just as twilight. And it's about a Los Angeles detective,
Yeah.
Hayden Glass,
Yeah, robbery homicide detective Hayden Glass, LAPD.
and his partner, Rich, has had a stroke, and he's suddenly a man alone, even if he is part of the police department.
Yeah. Yeah, Hayden is he does things a little bit on his own. He has his own kind of intuitive way of doing investigations. He's very much more of an investigator that goes with his heart and soul and what he sees and feels, which is not always by the book. And Rich, his partner, who's an older partner and mentor to him, basically brought him from the Hollywood division into the robbery homicide division, which is the elite investigative unit. And he was able to kind of control, they were yin and yang, and they worked together quite well. Rich is by the book, Rich is very smart procedurally, and they worked as a great team. But now Rich has had a stroke, and Hayden has stumbled into a series of homicides, and his emotion is starting to pull him into it.
And he's really a wild cannon, as they say.
Yeah.
Apart from the murders that he's in, he is also a member of AA, but sex AA, of people who have this addiction of picking up girls, doing things, cruising in the car to see who's out there.
Yeah.
And this will play back, which is the book.
Yeah, yeah. He has an addiction, a sex addiction, which not a lot of people really understand sex addiction. It's very much like alcoholism or drug addiction or any other type of addiction. There's a hole in someone's life that needs to be filled with something. Sex addicts tend to be wired towards filling that hole with some kind of sexual recognition, some kind of basically kind of a hit. Where it releases actually a dopamine in their brain that gives them the sense of comfort. And for him, for many people, it can be going to strip clubs, it can be having an affair with someone, or just picking up. Men and women also are sex addicts, and they can pick each other up in bars, and this feeling of, it's a kind of a needy quality. And the way that he expresses it is by driving around cruising and picking up prostitutes on street corners. And he's really kind of addicted to the process of cruising, of this getting in this world, this bubble. It's actually called a bubble, where the rest of the world disappears, and he's in this kind of very soft, cushy, nowhere middle ground of his cruising, and he could be cruising for hours.
Interesting is that he goes to one of his meetings, and he lets it all out. Who he is, how it happened, how his father disappeared and was killed, and how he found the father's killer. And he goes through it, and they're angry at him. They say, "You're a vice cop. What are you doing here? Catching us?" And they drum him out of that group. But every one of the murders he's in, he begins to think there's somebody behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
They know too much about him.
Yeah, about him personally.
But my question is, this is so real. I mean, I feel I'm walking with him that I have to say, how did the writer do this? Did he go through SAA?
I've been to, the book came from my own struggles with sexual addiction. Actually, it's similar but not exactly like what Hayden has gone through. But it was something that I didn't know anything about a sex addiction. I didn't know there was such a thing as a sex addiction. If someone had told me that I had an addiction to sex, I would have laughed at them. I would have said, "I'm a hot-blooded young American man. You know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's a male-centric society, and I would just feel that. I had I've had lots of girlfriends all the way through high school and college, and I was very active. And I didn't realize that there was this addiction until it started kind of ruining my life. So things started happening in my life that were affected by this. And I realized it was, well, there were some things that occurred, and I was told that what you have is a sexual addiction. And then I found these meetings, Sex Addicts Anonymous and Sexaholics Anonymous. And the moment I walked in there, I thought, wow, this is an amazing place. These people are so honest. People you've never met, you meet for the first time, and they're talking about their experiences, and there's no reason not to be honest.
Yeah.
The honesty comes right out because that's how they heal. And so I learned this process, and through this process, I thought, now it's time for me to write a novel. I've always written screenplays, but I want to write a novel. And I want to write something where, if I had read this book, Boulevard, when I was cruising the streets, I would have seen myself in the pages.
Yeah.
And I would have found these meetings years before I found them. Someone wouldn't have had to tell me. I would
Or
have just
Stephen,
seen
you
myself.
would have found some of these girls that he finds. And the fact that you feel when he's getting that jolt, that hype, he's got to go with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like any addiction, like if a Coke addict sees someone hands them Coke, what are they going to do? They want to get it.